Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I have a story time and it's gonna be a fucking roller coaster. Just a warning, this story does involve suicide. Alright, let's get into this shit. So a few years ago I went to Queensland with some people. I'm not gonna mention their names because they want no association with me anymore. I don't know why. So if I say we or us, that's why I'm not mentioning them any further than that. So on the first day, we're in the spa outside and I spot this guy on a balcony in the hotel next to us. He's just dancing away, doing his thing, and I called up to him to say hi, you know, whatever. And I ended up talking to him and we made plans to meet for ice cream later that night. So we head out about the time that we planned to meet them and we didn't end up finding them. I think we did make some effort, but I'm not sure how much effort we actually made to find them. Anyway, a bit later on, we're sitting on the beach taking selfies and a guy comes up and he asks if he wants us to take the photo. After a bit, we realized it was the dancing guy from the balcony. So we made plans to go to a club and they were able to get me free entry. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm in, like, cool. So the second night comes around and we organized to go to another club in Queensland. For reasons I'm not gonna mention, we didn't get into the club. So we went and got some snacks and some drinks and we went back to our hotel room. We get back, we're sitting on the balcony and I have anxiety talking about this. So we're sitting on the balcony and all of a sudden the guy in the room next to us leans over the barrier on the balcony and he says to us, girls, would you please go inside, something bad's gonna happen. And at first I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean something bad's gonna happen? Like, we kind of argued with him for a little and then he says, I'm very depressed and don't want to live anymore, I'm gonna jump off the balcony. And we were on the 15th floor and I'm not smiling or laughing because I think it's funny, it's just that's been my way of dealing with it since it happened. So after that it was all just a blur, like it all just happened in moments. But we ran inside and called the police, but as I was calling the police I heard him hit the ground. After we spoke to the cops, they called back and asked us to let them in because you needed a scanner to get into the building. So I was terrified, but I go out and as the elevator opened that I was gonna go in to go down and let them in, there's a whole bunch of police and the building manager. He'd gotten a notification in the meantime and was there to let them in. As they're explaining to the cops what had happened, I had a breakdown. Like, I could not talk at all. I was thinking, what the fuck just happened? Once we explained everything that had happened, we went back into our room, but because the man's door was on a 90-degree angle to our door, the policewoman sat in the door with us so that we could calm down and she could keep an eye on the door so no one could get in or out without authorization. And let me tell you, it's a weird experience watching Friends with Benefits and eating popcorn with a policewoman when you're a teenager. It's a bit weird. As the police were investigating through his room and on his balcony, the dancing guy from the hotel next door messaged because he'd seen the police looking with lights and stuff in the rooms and he recognized that it was near us. The next day I found out that this guy had actually lived in this building for a while. He was originally on the first floor and they'd found him after he'd tried to commit suicide one time before. And then after that happened, after a while he asked to be moved to a higher level for the view. So they moved him to the 15th floor. He was an older man, maybe in his 60s. And I'd actually seen him that day in the laundry room that we shared. So I don't know why he was doing laundry if he was gonna do that. But since then I've looked into it a little bit and I found out that Queensland actually has a high rate of suicide in older men, and in a 2-year period of 287 suicides in Queensland, 218 of them, which is 76%, were male. I'm gonna put the Lifeline number up on the screen and also in the description, and I'm also gonna put a link to a Tumblr in the description that I found, and it has contact numbers for helplines all around the world. But on a slightly happier note, the dancing guy, I found out he lived in the same state as me. His name's Jono and we're actually still really good friends. Anyway, thanks for watching guys. I told you it was gonna be a fucking roller coaster. Please subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye!